She can't put that flag up. It's against HOA rules. Karen's voice cut through the quiet of the afternoon like a siren. I was on the ladder, hanging the American flag I had carried with me through 2 deployments, when I saw her marching across my lawn with that clipboard clutched to her chest. Her face was red, like she had been waiting all day for this fight. "You're violating community standards," she barked, shoving a piece of paper in my face. "This isn't a military base. Take it down or I'll fine you." I stayed still on the ladder, my hand tightening on the flagpole. "This is my property," I said calmly, though I could feel my chest burning. "And this flag stays." Her eyes narrowed. "You think you're special because you served? The HOA doesn't care. I make the rules here." She took out her phone, already dialing. "If you don't take it down right now, I'll call the police and tell them you're causing a disturbance." The neighborhood was silent, blinds shifting as people peeked from their windows. Everyone wanted to see what would happen next. And in that moment, I realized, Karen wasn't bluffing. She was about to turn this into a war. Karen pressed her phone to her ear and started pacing on my driveway like she owned it. "Yes, officer? There's a man here refusing to follow HOA law. He's aggressive and threatening me." Her words were sharp, exaggerated, every syllable dripping with fake fear. I climbed down from the ladder slowly, keeping my eyes locked on her. "Aggressive?" I said under my breath, almost laughing. "I haven't even moved toward you." But Karen didn't stop. "Yes, hurry. He's dangerous, and he has a weapon." My chest tightened. She wasn't just lying, she was setting me up. I pointed at her phone. "You just made a false police report. You realize that's a crime?" Her lips curved into a smirk. "They'll believe me over you. I've lived here 20 years. You're just some guy who moved in last month." The blinds from across the street twitched again, a little kid's face pressed against the glass. I could feel the whole neighborhood watching, judging, waiting. Karen snapped her phone shut. "The cops are on their way. Better hope you have a good lawyer." I stood in silence, my fists clenched at my side. She had no idea. I was the last person she should have tried this stunt with. The sound of sirens cut through the quiet streets, growing louder until 2 police cruisers rolled up to the curb. Karen waved her arms like she was summoning backup in a war zone. "Over here." "That's him," she shouted, pointing at me as if I were some kind of criminal. 2 officers stepped out, one hand already resting on his holster. "Sir, step away from the flag," the taller one ordered. Karen rushed forward, her voice trembling but full of fake tears. "He threatened me. He tried to attack me when I told him to follow HOA rules. And look, he's got that flag up illegally." The shorter officer frowned. "Illegally? Ma'am, hanging a flag isn't against the law." Karen spun toward him, her face twisting. "It is here. I'm on the board, and this man refuses to listen. He even said he'd hurt me if I called you." The taller cop studied me carefully. "Sir, is that true?" I took a breath and pulled my wallet from my back pocket. "No, officer. And I think you'll want to see this." I handed him my ID, the one thing Karen didn't know about me. The officer's eyes flicked to the card, and his posture immediately changed. His jaw tightened, and then he glanced at Karen with something close to disbelief. Karen, of course, had no idea yet. She was too busy rehearsing her victory. The officer held my ID a little longer, then looked straight at me with respect in his eyes. "You didn't mention you were a decorated veteran," he said quietly enough that Karen didn't catch it. He handed it back, his tone shifting completely. Karen stomped closer, her heels clicking on the pavement. "What are you waiting for? Arrest him already. He's violating HOA law." The taller cop raised an eyebrow. "Ma'am, HOA rules are not state law. We don't arrest people for flying the American flag. In fact," he glanced at me again, "this man has every right to display it." Karen's mouth dropped open, her face burning red. No. That's not how it works here. I run this community, and everyone follows me. I couldn't help but laugh under my breath. You don't run me. She spun toward me, her finger jabbing the air. You think your army stories make you untouchable? This is my neighborhood. The taller officer stepped between us, his voice sharp now. Enough, ma'am. False reporting is a serious charge. You said he had a weapon? Her confidence faltered, just for a second. Well. I thought he did. I wasn't sure. The shorter cop pulled out a small notepad. We'll need to take your statement, ma'am. Carefully. Karen froze, realizing for the first time that this wasn't going the way she imagined. And that's when I decided it was time to reveal the part she definitely didn't see coming. I reached into my jacket pocket and pulled out a small leather badge case. Flipping it open, I held it up just enough for the officers to see. Karen squinted, confused. What's that supposed to be? Some kind of fake ID? The taller officer's voice went firm. That's no fake, ma'am. He nodded at me with respect. You didn't tell us you were also a federal officer. The whole street seemed to gasp at once. Curtains rustled, and neighbors leaned farther out of their windows. Karen's face drained of color. What? Federal. No, this isn't fair. He's lying. I stepped closer, calm but steady. Karen, you called the cops on me for flying the same flag I swore an oath to protect. You filed a false report, tried to humiliate me in front of my neighbors, and now you're about to learn what real authority looks like. She stumbled back, clutching her clipboard like a shield. You can't do this. I'm the HOA president. The shorter cop smirked. Ma'am, HOA president doesn't mean queen of the country. And right now, you're looking at charges. Karen shook her head in disbelief, her voice cracking. No one's going to believe this. I'll tell the whole neighborhood he threatened me. I smiled, pulling my phone from my pocket. Good luck with that. Because everything you just said was recorded. The blood drained from her face completely. I tapped my phone screen, and her own voice echoed back through the quiet street. Yes, officer? He's dangerous, and he has a weapon. Every word, dripping with her fake fear, played loud enough for the whole block to hear. Neighbors gasped, a few even stepping out onto their porches. Karen's eyes darted around, realizing the crowd was no longer on her side. That's a false police report, clear as day, the shorter cop said, his tone sharp now. You understand what that means, ma'am? Karen's knees almost buckled, but she tried one last desperate move. She turned toward the crowd. Don't believe him. He's twisting everything. I was just protecting the neighborhood. But an older neighbor shouted from across the street, protecting? Karen, you've been bullying us for years. Now you're caught. Another voice chimed in, a woman clutching her child's hand. You threatened to fine me because my grass was 2 inches too long. We're tired of you. Karen spun in circles, her face red, sweat dripping down her forehead. No, you all need me. Without me, this place will fall apart. The taller officer shook his head. Ma'am, you need to calm down. Right now, you're looking at charges for filing a false report and harassment. Karen's clipboard slipped from her hands, hitting the driveway with a hollow crack. She had lost control of everything, and she knew it. The taller officer stepped forward, his hand hovering near his cuffs. Ma'am, turn around. Hands behind your back. Karen's eyes went wide. You can't arrest me. I'm the HOA president. I run this community. Her voice cracked, desperate, but the neighborhood only watched in silence. The shorter cop spoke firmly. No, ma'am. You don't run anyone. You broke the law. He reached for her wrists, snapping the cuffs around them as she shrieked. Gasps rippled through the crowd, then, something else. Applause. One by one, neighbors started clapping, the sound echoing down the street like a verdict. Karen twisted toward me, her eyes burning. This isn't over. I'll get my lawyers. I'll sue every single one of you. I folded my arms, steady and calm. Go ahead. I've fought tougher battles than this. And this time, the truth is on my side. The cops guided her toward the cruiser, her clipboard still lying in the driveway like a broken crown. For the first time, Karen wasn't in charge. As the door slammed shut, I looked around at the neighbors, the same people who had once been too afraid to speak. Now, they were smiling, nodding, some even wiping tears. For once, the bully was the one in chains. The police cruisers rolled away, red and blue lights fading into the evening. The street grew quiet again, but it wasn't the same silence as before, it was lighter, freer, like the air itself had been cleared. I walked back to the ladder, picked up the flag, and finished what I started. The stars and stripes unfurled against the sky, catching the last rays of the setting sun. For a moment, nobody spoke. Then an old veteran across the street raised his hand in salute. Others followed, neighbors standing tall, some with their hands over their hearts. My throat tightened, but I forced a smile. This is what freedom looks like, I said softly, more to myself than anyone else. A little boy tugged his father's sleeve. Dad, can we put our flag up too? The father nodded, eyes shining. Yeah, son. We will. Karen had tried to strip me of pride, of home, of the symbol I carried through every fight. Instead, she only reminded the neighborhood what that flag really meant. I didn't raise it for me. I raised it for every American who ever stood their ground, no matter who tried to tear them down. And as the flag waved above my house, I knew one thing for certain: no HOA, no bully, no Karen, would ever silence it again.